Hello, everyone. My name is Talon Barnhouse, and this video is going to be about visual putting for visual impairment people, and I'm going to have a certain client. I thought to myself, uh, putting's very hard in itself, but how could I help a visually impaired person to be able to play golf, and specifically just the putting part of golf? And anybody that knows and has played golf um, knows that it's very difficult. Putting is very difficult, especially under extreme pressure. And yeah, so we're gonna start. My client, his name is Dalton Woods, and he's a 13-year-old kid in the eighth grade, and he has a complete he has a visual impairment, um, complete loss of vision in both of his eyes, and his hobbies are listening to music. He loves going on walks with his guide dog, and he loves sports. He has to listen to them through podcasts, and he loves listening to the games and the announcers. And he specifically loves golf because he loves the sound of nature. He loves the peaceful. He loves the sound of the ball hitting, getting hit from the driver. And yeah, he's very outgoing and loves being challenged and finding different ways to overcome the adversity of his visual impairment. And then what is visual impairment? It's partial or complete loss that limits visual perception. My camera keeps turning off, but um, complete, and he has complete loss of his vision. And this obviously affects everything that Dalton does, especially if he wanted to putt. And he does, it's going to affect him being able to line the ball up with the putter and be able to hit it in the hole. So that's a lot of doing everything perfectly right. And we're going to find ways um, to where he's going to be able to do that. All right. And for me, this is the visual impairment precision putting clinic that I'm running. Like I said, my name's Talon, and I'm gonna start with teaching Dalton the motion of how to hold the putter and how the exact speed and how you need to do it gentle to push it just barely forward, and the ball will go. And I would do this by talking him through the steps, generally guiding him through the motion. And then once his form is correct and complete, then we'll include a high-tech ball and putter, which the high-tech ball will be able to be tracked along with the putter. It'll be linked to that. And it'll also make noise. So Dalton will be able to hear where the ball is, and he'll be able to hear where the ball is, and also we'll be able to hear where the hole is. There'll be two different sounds, so he'll know, okay, that's where the ball is, and then that's where the hole is, so he gets a gist of it a little bit. And then um the high-tech putter, it knows where the holes are, so when you line it up, it will with the ball, you'll line it up with the ball and it knows where the hole is exactly at. It'll vibrate. And when the putter vibrates, you'll know that the ball is on target with the hole. And Dalton will then use sounds of the ball and the hole. And also, I'll have a tactile image of every single putting green of so where he can feel it and feel, okay, the ball's going to be here and the hole's here. So, he'll get a little bit of a visual understand or mental understanding of where the ball is at and where the hole's at. And yeah, so those are how I'll be able to help him. The SMART goal is in 3 months, Dalton will be able to line up the putter with the ball and softly tap the ball into the hole with correct technique from 3 feet out and make 5 out of the 10 attempts with the help of the vibrating putter and listening cues from the ball and hole. So it doesn't sound like it would be hard, but it definitely would be difficult. But with 3 months and um, how we're going to be able to help him through this, I believe we'll be able to do this. This is a tracker of where I want him to be at. 1 foot out, we want at least 5 out of 10 in the first month. First month, half of it is going to be just getting the basics down, and probably more than half of the first month. So we're that just 1 foot out would be fine, and then 2 feet for the second month. So we're just a little bit at a time, and then 3 months we'll get to 3 feet. And then take us through an activity. It would be like the first 5 minutes we're going to complete a stretch, some simple stretches, and complete a lap to get the blood flowing. And then in the next 25 minutes, in the first month, we'll really focus on the technique and swinging the putter softly, gripping the putter, um, and then we'll try to practice trying to hit the ball into the hole. And then we'll take a 5 minute break after that, and then get water, and he can play with his service dog that will be there. And then in the last 25 minutes, we're going to be working with the smart putter and practicing using the vibrations and sounds to hit the ball into the hole. And then in the last 5 minutes, we'll talk about the positives and then what he can improve on. And we'll be meeting 4 days a week. It doesn't say, but we'll be meeting 4 days a week for an hour. I think that's an hour and 5 minutes. And then progression and regression modifications. Like I said, all anybody who's played golf knows how hard putting is, and with tons of pressure, it's very challenging. So I tried to make as many modifications as possible to help Dalton with the putter, the sounds, everything, me guiding him. The first modification is the speaker and the ball that I talked about, and then I said it's going to make a barking sound from a dog, and then the next, the hole will make a whistling sound. So Dalton will be able to hear both those objects, and it's not just going to be making those sounds all the time. He's going to be able to press it on the putter to make that sound. Just so, all right, if he needs to hear the ball, he'll click that. If he needs to hear the hole, he'll click that, and then it'll make the sound. Just so it's not distracting him as he's trying to putt, right? And then finally, the putter will have um, buttons. Yeah, right. So that's what I talked about. And then um, when he focuses, yeah, and then along with the putter, it'll also have a camera on it that will be able to line up the ball. When it's lined up with the hole, it'll vibrate, right? And then the progression is moving the ball farther from the pin, and then that's how we'll make it more difficult. And then behavior management, as anybody who knows, it's putting can be very frustrating, and so we're just going to be able to keep Dalton motivated and locked in on the goal, but it will be very challenging. I'm always going to tell him all of his positive progress and moves he's making. I also will listen to him when he says he needs to go on breaks or he wants to listen to music. Um, sort of that kind of stuff. And then finally, he loves his service dog, so I'm gonna be able to keep have the service dog around for him to keep him comfortable and motivated. And then what an assessment tool will look like, it'll be these four skills, and then the criteria will be, he uses correct grip with hands placed comfortably and consistently on the putter. And then for putting stance, student demonstrates proper stance, feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, and eyes over the ball. And then for lining up the putter with the ball to the hole, student aligns the putter face square to the ball and aims towards the target. And then swing speed and power, student uses appropriate swing speed and power for distance, maintaining control and smooth tempo. And so this is what one try will look like. Maybe he messes up on one, and then the two he messes up on the other, and then he'll get them all right the next one. And so the final assessment will include those four skills as points, and then same criteria, and then he'll get those 5 points once he's completed that. And then it'll also include the SMART goal of 20 points if he's able to make 5 out of the 10 from 3 feet out into the hole. He will get all 20 points, and then that will put him at a 40-point total. All right, thank you guys for listening to my video. Hope you guys enjoyed.